Welcome, and thanks for deciding to spend the National Day of Significance with E-Lime with Bimprov, where we explore the space we live in through improvisational theatre. And how tonight is going to work, ladies and gentlemen, is that we will share stories with you, and hopefully you will share some stories with us. And our master crew of improvisers will take your stories and improvise around them. Now, how this works is that your story may morph into something ever so slightly different by the time that they're finished with it. So please don't share any stories with us that are so personal to you that you don't want them to be played with. Because while our players will be respectful, it is, after all, improvisation. The first game that we're going to play is a game called Alphabet Conversations. And how this game works is that I'll share a story with you. Our theme today is We're Really Change. And we're looking at the fact that we're celebrating a moment in history when Clement Payne and the riots happened. And it's a point where, despite the fact that independence didn't happen for another 29 years, our historians, I think, correctly identify it as a moment where there was a change in consciousness. However, we must take a critical eye and a critical look at ourselves, and we do need to ask what has really changed. I have a slightly facetious story that addresses the idea of things changing or not changing, and it goes like this. One evening before lockdown, many months before lockdown was even a thing in our minds, I had gotten off a bus in town and I was walking behind a group of 14 and 15-year-old schoolgirls who were very excited about what was obviously the hot boy of their generation. And they were talking about him. And they were saying all kinds of things and what not they would do to this little boy. And I remember being that age, and I thought it was hilarious because here were a bunch of little girls practicing or trying out their womanhood, and as a result, saying all kinds of totally inappropriate things. And as I'm walking with them, there's an old woman walking next to me. But I say old, but she's practically the same age as me. She was like 75. And she started to complain about how the young people today so backward and wayward, and her day young people wasn't so. And look at them, Rasta. All them studying is man. Well, here's the thing. I've been teaching young adults for most of my adult life. And while I will admit that it is young adults that have caused me to gray, I don't really subscribe to this idea that they're worse than we were. So I felt the need to tell her that. I was like, well, it don't sound any worse to me. They sound exactly how I sounded when I was that age. She didn't appreciate this. So she started telling me, well, no, that things change. These is a generation of vipers, and I kept defending them. So she told me her age and told me that I was to respect her age because she knows what she's talking about. And how her son is older than me and he never disrespected me, and we keep talking and talking. And then she tell me, in addition to always studying, man, listen to the language they're using, because the little girls was cursing. And I kept defending, and she get irritated, and finally she says, listen, my son is 60 years old, older than you, and he don't disrespect me. And I did the math. 60 from 75 is 15. And then I miss and tell her, but that mean that you had him when you was younger than them. At which point she proceeded to tell me about my dear old mother. She accused me of being a copulating rabbit. And she gave me my whole genealogy, all of whom were bastards. And I had to look and think, what really changed? Anyway, that's my story. Let's see what our improvisers can do with it. And I'm gonna ask, let's see, who do we have? I'm gonna ask Stephon and Romario to come front and center. So, I'm going to ask the audience to give us a letter of the alphabet to start with, because I find I don't explain these games properly, and maybe if you all do it, they'll get an idea of how it works. I'm going to ask the audience to give us a letter to start with, and then you guys are going to have a conversation based on the story that I just, oh there, look at that, we have letters in already. I like, the first letter in is the letter W. So gentlemen, the story involving the conversation with the old woman about young people, starting with the letter W.
Oh, Ross, look at what they're doing.
Explain to me. What you really talking about, man?
You don't see those fresh little young ladies walking about like that?
So, what you really telling me is that you never used to talk about man like that?
Absolutely not. Not me.
Because back in you there, you know, everything was all good, no?
Christian ladies do not do that, sir. You are rude. Too rude.
Don't get me wrong, lady. Don't get me wrong. I ain't trying to be rude. I almost as old as you. But you gonna understand the young people, man.
Everyone is blasted. Young people just want man. You fresh too.
Fresh? no, excuse me. I ain't trying to be fresh.
Go on about your business, man.
Hold on, no. We heading to see. Let me just have a civil conversation. We don't always want to get on bad.
How you can want to disrespect me and my son older than you? Hey.
Just let me know how old he is.
Kindly find your place, sir. You cannot know my age.
Look, I ain't asked for your age. I asked for your son's age. Then if you feel obliged, you can tell me your age.
My son is 60.
Oh, no. All right.
All right, I can call my man. He forget that the letter that's come after M is N. I have to say that Stephon is the weirdest old lady I've ever met in my life. Thank you very much for that, gentlemen. Stephon, you want to stay with us? Romario,
yeah, sure, no
thank
problem.
you, sir. We will call on you again in the not too distant future. All right, so hopefully now our audience understands it. I'm gonna ask you to think of somebody that you can call on to be part of our next run.
All right.
And while you're thinking of that, I'm gonna ask the audience if they can give us a topic for you and whoever you pick to discuss.
All right, no problem.
We're waiting. Anybody, anything? Oh dear, these are coming in fast and furious. This one is going to be interesting, brother. Racism. You have somebody in mind?
Yeah, Nekoda.
I don't really feel like talking to Nekoda. Nekoda was telling me about my hat before we started, and so I feel like I can ban him for now.
All right.
Try Danielle Sanson. I feel she.
Danielle?
Yeah.
I'm true.
All right, Danielle.
Hello.
So you're ever so slightly out of focus, Danielle. All right. We can live with that. We can live. Yeah, it could be that. You heard what your topic is?
Yes, I did.
Starting with the letter M. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
My man, I don't understand what they're talking about racism. We ain't no racism about him long.
No racism at all.
All right, then.
Yeah.
What tell the people so, white man?
Please, I don't want to bring race into it. It's not about my color.
Quick question. What we talking about?
Racism.
So, what you mean you don't want to bring color in this? If we talking about racism, it's color.
Trudy, you do see the color of my skin, right? I can't do that. It's wrong.
Why understand you?
Very long ago, I got in an incident with a black man. And he went to jail for something that I did.
Wait, man, tell me something. That happened yesterday or years ago?
Xanax pills I'm on, so I can't remember really, but a very long time ago.
You mean to tell me that happened long ago? So then they got no racism going on no in game?
Zoom? Nee, on
All
Zoom.
right, cut. That was
man.
getting really, really weird. But 100 points for Xanax and the very bizarre way that you work that into the conversation. And you've been in Barbados a while, white man?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, you're looking well tanned. You're looking well tanned. 3 people that can play this game, and you think of that while I try to explain to the audience how this is going to work. So how gibberish works, ladies and gentlemen, is that we're going to have 2 players who speak a language that is known only to them and our translator. And because only our translator can translate, that person will listen to these people conversing and translate to us what is being said as it is being said in real time. I think that's the correct term. Again, I know I tend not to explain things properly. So hopefully by now, Danielle has chosen 3 people that can do this game for us, and they will run it, and we will see how it works. But the topic that we have been given is Trump. Wow. Let me just give you a little context as we're looking at then and now. So, you know, America has a tremendous impact on the Caribbean. We are affected in ways that we sometimes don't even study by what happens in the US. So, we're really changed. People are claiming that Trump is an incompetent president. People are saying, there are people who say he's racist. There are people who say he's an angel. Are things really different? How has life changed since Obama was president? We're really changed. Are things really that different? So, conversations about Donald Trump.
Trump is so dreamy.
Pataka?
What's that you say?
You know, ma. Benama, menamina, hamea, me, ama, na.
You know, him being a billionaire and the president. Dreamy.
Oh, Giza. Nande guta is gaduda.
Oh, I get you. You have a mental illness.
Ma, menana, mama, da.
No, not me. Look at all he's done for the immigrants.
But kata. See,
I agree. What we're talking about? What is one talking about? All right. So, tell me something. I see some names in this audience. Y'all feel like I could call on one of them to join you in this game?
Of course.
Yeah? All right. The camera on, give it a shot. Lovely. What's your Wait, what's happening, Star? It's good to see you, man. All right. Are we getting your audio?
Test 1 2. Test 1 2 3.
Lovely.
All
So
right.
you understand how this game works?
I believe so.
All right. So what's going to happen is these two Gibberians are going to have a conversation. Let's change the topic. They're going to have a oh, look at that. They're going to have a conversation about cell phones versus landline phones, right? And
Okay.
you, sir, are going to attempt to translate to the audience what it is that these two Gibberians are saying. You cool?
Let's do it.
All right. So counting down from 5. A conversation, cell phones versus landline phones, going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What you do?
So, Regina, man, I just can't handle these two bills coming in right now. Cell phone, landline.
Nando chuku is kuti me chata.
Well, have you considered maybe just using your cell phone?
Já não, Jimina, bicho mole, nation.
Nah. I too accustomed using the landline for certain things, talking to certain people.
Aya tuki pistu kede mateka.
But that doesn't make sense to me. You can call anyone you'd call on a landline on your cell phone.
Bishina, Tine, Chilamit, say,
Okay, but does my grandmother have a cell phone? Does my grandfather have a cell phone? No, they don't.
Mama no.
What does that matter?
Sida, Pinashika, Nene.
Obviously, they can't call a cell phone from a landline.
Chi ita unichkada nana.
You are aware that you can call any device that can receive calls from a landline and a cell phone. It works.
Jaja, Adena me, Barena, Pikanami, Mana, Minimina.
I don't care what you're saying because it doesn't make sense to me. And I'm sticking to what I know because that's what I know. Okay. Do what works for you.
And time. So the topic is, should Nelson come down and why? Lovely. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Nanjigado Hansen Chikatai.
I think that he should stay up.
What you around, yeah, baby? What you come at that?
What are you asking? What are you talking about? Stay up.
Nachkato.
But he's a part of our history.
Oh, no. What's that? No. I had that. I know.
Man, you got to be kidding me. Nelson, you're not part. He ain't got no right there. He shouldn't be there. He should got somebody else.
No chikatai. Didujin asekata min shintokai.
Well, I think you're a fool.
Why you do? What that? Who that? Unana.
What do you do for Barbadians? He starved bare black people.
The Jane Dine, Jane. Why China?
But still, He's still up there, so he should got some purpose, right? He do something.
School nah. Dada, da.
He should come down in the wharf.
You think I'll die? Later.
No, he should stay up.
Da, da.
And time. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Anybody find that my man Romario sounds
Like a
like
Japanese,
certain
like a
kind of
Japanese anime
animation?
character.
All right then.
Yeah, like a
I never
Japanese
know.
anime
It's
character.
all right. It's all right.
Never
It was just freaking us out a little bit. All right, people all. Thank you very much. I'm not sure if we're gonna come back to this game or not, but I got word from the producer that it is that time of day when we all get to sit back, relax, and listen to our favorite radio program. And yes, there's the theme music. Ladies and gentlemen, Who's the Body Radio?
Welcome all to Who's the Body Radio. I am your host, Karen Williams, and today we will be talking about our topic, what really changed? Now, what really changed can be asked about many things, hurricanes, politics, race issues. Speaking of race issues, this is such a hot button topic. Nelson, finally, you can get tapped on. But a lot of people are saying that money could have been used to allocate to something else, like helping poor people, etc., etc. But honestly, I feel like those kind of people were always around and always will be. The naysayers. The people who say, oh, well, something else could be done. But anyways, I think that we are due for our first caller. Good afternoon, good evening. How can I help you?
Morning.
Hello.
Morning. I'm here to discuss a topic. The topic that you're talking about.
You got sinuses, sir?
No. That's just a natural thing.
It's quite annoying. Anyways,
It's all right. I can't help it. So
yes,
on the topic you was talking about, I'm here to raise an issue about that. Me personally, I don't have a problem with the Nelson thing. But what I do have a problem with is that we eating meat too much.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What about it?
We should go back to the old time ways. Only eating meat on a Sunday.
You ever hear about Hinkson, sir?
I tell you, I can't do nothing about it.
Okay. We should only go back eating meat on a Sunday, but why?
Because you gotta realize, look at the economy right now. Look at the people in the economy right now. Huh? Look at them fat. Them need to slim down. And back in my day, they had the fat people in my day.
Well, listening.
I let you talk, lady.
No, continue.
Sorry. What I was saying is that it ain't the fat people in my day. That's what you know. Is that it ain't the fat people because they never used to eat meat on us. They never used to eat meat all the time, only on a Sunday.
Okay. All right. And you feel that would avoid obesity and being overweight in this society?
Yes. I really feel it. As I said, ain't the fat people in my day. I can't tell you when last I see a fat person.
Okay, sir. Well, thank you for calling in. We really appreciate your feedback. Yes. Thank you. Wow, that was interesting. This may shock some of our viewers, our listeners, but actually, my grandmother, she used to tell me that, the only time we will really have meat is when we're having Sunday lunch. And I guess those were the real origins of Sunday lunch. So that's very interesting. I will agree, a lot of our diets that we inherited, you don't actually serve a purpose anymore because they used to work the fields. But here's our next caller. Good afternoon, good evening. Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, good evening. Now that you mentioned the topic of, what really changed, I was at work the other day and I couldn't help but notice all the little children that are going to school, 8 and 9 and 10 years old, going to school. Well, not really the 8-year-olds, but I see the 9 ones that set in the exam early, because they're bright and they're doing the studying. But a lot of them 10, 11-year-olds that come in to prepare for the combinations that are turning up in short pants and slippers and shirt that got the bellies out. And I really don't understand it. Yes, the combinations, because, the madam set it still.
Yes, but they usually wear a uniform for the common entrance.
Exactly, they usually wear the uniform for the common entrance, but they say I have to go to school for the little week or two to get back some to have some classroom time with the teachers. And I find parents are sending school their children in home clothes and out clothes, and I feel like that is not the place. This is not the place to be sending your children in those type of clothes. It is a school. Well, back in my day, especially when I had first started work, parents as well as your children knew you always have to respect your uniform and respect yourself. So you would come school dressed in a nice length skirt and your pants were pressed, your skirt was pressed, and you had on nice white socks. Or if you're a boy, you have on your khakis and your shoes are polished. Nobody about here don't know about this now, and I don't understand it. I'm really trying to figure out what happened that things changed. So,
well, ma'am, do you have any children? And how does this relate to our topic? Don't you think that back in the days that children weren't also wearing shorts?
Well, yes, they were also wearing shorts, but they would never wear it to school because the parents knew better. The parents knew better, but nowadays they don't got the grandparents the host because they don't let how the grandparents is raising them, right? You see, so the parents nowadays, I don't know what happened because they had some very good upbringing because I remember seeing some of them grow up myself, and I don't understand what happened.
Well, ma'am, do you have any okay. Our producers are saying that's all the time we have for you. Thank you for coming on. Well, I think a lot of people have a lot of things to say about how young people dress, but if you really look at pictures from now and then, sometimes you would see very tight pants on men as well, and you would see very short pants on both men and women. So I really don't like the argument that young children does just wear anything, just wear short clothes. Anyways, it's time for our next caller. Good afternoon, good evening, good night. Hello, welcome to the show.
Hello there, dear.
Hello, yes. What do you think about our topic?
Change.
Yes.
Change. This little island talks about change all the time. 200 years they've been talking about change, see? But nothing will change with me. I'm important here. It's about me.
Well, sir, what exactly do you mean by change? What kind of change?
I have been a staple of this island for over centuries, darling. Haven't you heard about me? Anyway, your little island talks about change. They put up petitions. They do this. They do that. They deface me. They do everything they want to do. But they cannot bring me to my downfall. I will never go anywhere. I will stay here forever.
Forever? And who are you that's staying here forever? What do you do?
I will not disclose my name, darling. I will not disclose my name.
Okay. What is your occupation?
Well, I finished work centuries ago. Centuries ago.
Centuries? Is that figure of speech?
Depends on how you look at it. Depends on how you look at it, darling.
Okay. All right, sir. Thank you for coming on. That's very interesting. That's very, very interesting. Thank you, sir.
See you later.
Wow, centuries. Either we got zombie or Hello?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
next caller.
This is your producer. I just called because I neglected to tell our listening audience something at the top of your show, which is that the callers are unknown to you and that you are to identify them. But while you were talking on the radio, ma'am, I noticed some of our callers, because you know we've now added WhatsApp to our repertoire, so our callers can message while you're speaking. So I'm just going to go through some of the suggestions that were made by the callers. So your first caller, oh dear, where is it? Your first caller was identified by one of our audience members as a shape-shifting pig. How do you feel about that?
I don't disagree. I mean, He definitely sounded like something was wrong. Like, I don't disagree, but I don't think that's what he was. But
What did you think? Who did you think you were talking to?
I just think he was a very old man with some very bad sinuses. Yes.
Fair enough. And our second caller, my God, I can't remember who our second caller was. Who was our second caller?
Our second caller was a woman,
Oh, yes.
Complaining about young children.
Complaining about young children.
Young children wearing shark clothes.
Okay. Somebody's identified an old person talking for real. Cadence is spot on. Our second caller was actually a headmistress who was upset with the online lack of uniform. And who was our third caller?
Our third caller, a zombie apparently. He said last time he worked was centuries and centuries ago. I can only imagine who that is, talking about change and changing him.
Okay. Well, our last caller has been identified by our translator, the guy that was translating for us, Lorenzo, said statue. Somebody else says he near white man with two N's. Another caller has suggested that we're going to call this caller Mr. Harding. And then Lorenzo comes back and says, nah, he's Nelson. And then our last, oh no, we have one more who says, I can't believe Nelson come from beyond the grave to say he wasn't laughing. And indeed it was Nelson, who is very skeptical about the rumor that he will be coming down, as there has been such a rumor before. Somebody says, I thought the second caller was the 75-year-old woman that I spoke of in the beginning. Thank you very much, Ms. Williams. And I hope to hear you on the radio sometime soon.
Of course, of course. Good
afternoon,
everybody.
Good afternoon. Okay, so up next, we have a interesting game called Camera On, Mic Off. And how this game works is that we are now exploring something called movie magic. So I don't know how many of you know this, but very often in film, what you think you're seeing on screen is not what is being seen. A lot of the time, especially when you're dealing with unknown actors, a lot of the time, the people that you see aren't even speaking English, especially when you're watching foreign films. Sometimes actors are reciting the alphabet, and then the audio is put in after. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a composite character. That character is going to be made up of one actor whose body you'll see, and another actor whose voice you'll hear. So one person will be the body, the other person will be the voice, hence camera on, mic off, as one person has the camera on and the other has their mic on. Wow, I just confused myself. And in the context of what has changed really, what really changed, you are going to be discussing tourism. So Nekoda, you and I will turn our cameras off.
Really? I think that so much. hasn't changed at all. Like, really, like, all right, let's get on to business. So, did you know that Barbados built its tourism product on our old plantocracy? Like, oh my God, like, that's not even cool. But they still do it. Like, we used to do sugar cane and stuff at first. That was like our head thing. It was on top. Yeah. But now we had to substitute it because, we're going for like selling our Barbados, our beautiful Barbados as the product. So tourism, yay, tourism. Yeah, right. So, like, it's kind of strange because, like, having built our tourism on plantocracy and stuff, it's not cool. Like, it really isn't. Because, like, everything is still the same, and they
Okay, I'm gonna cut. I don't know. That's freaking me out. I'm having like cognitive dissonance going on here. I'm gonna ask you to choose another player, and we're going to do a game called genres. Now, while you're thinking about who you're choosing, let me explain how genres works to the audience. How genres work is that we're going to give our players a topic to discuss, as we've been doing for the whole night, and we're going to let them start the improvisation what we call raw, which means they're just going to start the improvisation as improvisation artists. They will bring their own context and then their own characters to it, and then at some point we're going to freeze them and change the genre in which the action happens. What I will do is I will give the first freeze myself so that the audience understands how it works, and then from there we can take some suggestions from the audience. All right, so here what the suggestions are coming in fast and furious. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let you run on one. We're gonna change your genres a couple of times. Then I'm gonna swap some players out and maybe touch on one or two of the other subjects that have come in. All right? So what you guys, nice one. What you guys are going to be talking about, again, in the context of what has really changed, is corporal punishment in the home. Now, you could do whatever you want with that, but that's what you're talking about.
The Bible said, spare the rod, spare the child. Don't you believe me, sister?
I would like to agree with you, but what if the child don't respond to the beating? What else do they?
Does a child cry when you beat it?
Tell me, sir. Tell me. The slaves stopped trying to get away when you was whipping them?
Oh, I wasn't whipping the slaves, man. that was a long time ago. Come on, man. That's something different. That's something different, man. Oh, come on. That is something different, okay? We must beat our children to instill discipline.
Beating them is like treating them like slaves. I do not see the point. Have a conversation with your child. Children are humans. They can comprehend.
All right. If you ask your 4-year-old child, what is 4 plus 4?
Freeze.
What would they tell you?
So we're gonna go with the genre of rap musical. Yes, I know. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I will tell you again, and I will tell you another. Yes, you have to beat your brother to get him into shape. If you understand what I'm saying, pow.
Children are smart. You need to know that. If you speak to them, they'll understand that. What?
You got it wrong. Blood, let me teach you what God said. In the Bible, you have to beat your child for them to understand what's wrong from right. Yeah, they will fight
The Bible
in schools.
was translated so many years ago by people who didn't even speak the language.
But you have to understand it. The white people, oops, I said white. I mean, the Christians, they understood what they were saying. Huh. Yeah.
All right, Freeze, my God, when I don't listen to rap, make my heart hurt me, man. Lord. Genre, we have a suggestion from the audience. This is gonna be interesting. Action blockbuster. All right, I can give you a little bit more help than I would normally. You know, like movies like Terminator and Two Guns and them kind of things. Right, action blockbuster. 5, 4, 2, 1.
You have to beat the child, man. That's how you get arms like mine.
So you're basically telling me that you're using your children to like exercise?
No,
Freeze!
I'm not telling you that.
Freeze! What kind of action movie this is? What? This is a soap opera. I want action, man. Action thing. One more time. Action movie, please.
You know what I do to my child? I beat it. I beat it hard. Not like what Michael Jackson said, but I beat it so that it understands right from wrong.
Freeze. We're going to, oh, I didn't see the gun. My apologies. It looks like we might have been headed somewhere, but we're going to try Shakespeare. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
My lady, why art thou not beating thy child?
Please tell me the benefit of beating a child who doesn't respond.
But if you have to beat it, the child to know what it says if.
But a child that doesn't get to speak because you keep beating it will not communicate with you. You will never have a bond.
Sister.
Thank you very much, guys. Freeze. To beat or not to beat? That is the question. Whether to lick with a belt or lick down with a shoe. Anyway, thank you very much, guys. So your topic is going to be the riots. You know the riots? You know what I'm talking about? 1937. Topic is going to be the riots. We're going to start you cold. Oh, lovely. I have some genres here just backed up waiting for you. So we're going to start you cold. Oh, dear me. And then I'll freeze you and change the genres. So, 1937 riots going in 1.
So tell me, Frank, you're going there by the riot with Payne?
Me? No. That, you know that I may take man.
What happened?
Look,
What happened?
that thing can go wrong for everybody. You don't understand it?
Man, explain what you mean, Frank.
All right, say we go down there now.
Right.
And we start looting and all these things. Do we give it the white man opportunity to we proving them right?
Proving them right? By fighting back for what's ours?
You gonna fight for a man just cause to get deported?
What is obvious? He stand up for a right that all black people in
Freeze.
this world
Horror movie. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What are you doing, man? Just
You
calm
must
down.
stand up for the right of your brothers and sisters.
Hey, I just don't believe in it.
You must stand up for the right of your brothers and sisters. You must stand up for the right of your brothers and sisters.
All right.
Freeze. Don't be killing nobody. Pardon the pun. That was horrible. All right. last genre. Last genre. Italian opera. Discussing the 1937 riots. Italian opera. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So Frank, my brother, why won't you stand with me? But Frank, it is only all.
No, it is not right. If we fight, we lose everything we stand up for. We lose everything.
We must fight.
I don't want to fight anymore.
Frank, battle for the right to fight for your land.
We get deported for, just like everyone else. You will fight for a man that doesn't even know who you are.
But Frank, he has fought.
All right, cut. My God. My God. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Wow. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sharing this evening with us. Thank you for being part of an E-Lime with Bimprov National Day of Significance edition. We have indeed come to the end of our time. I've gotten word from the producer that we were slightly over. Thank you for your suggestions. Even though we didn't use all of them, they were coming in fast and furious from 2 places. I enjoyed having you. I hope you enjoyed being with us. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, it's over now. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay